Governor Lamont's desire to confiscate all so-called assault weapons is not getting the support he thought he would. Welcome to another installment of the Connecticut Gun Bench. Today's video is brought to you by P.A.N. Firearms, LLC. P.A.N. Firearms, your NRA certification and multifaceted gun training. You can reach us at 203-300-6343 or use our website at www.panfirearmsllc.com. As always, there'll be a link in the description box below. And let's talk about this. Now, if you remember, I did a video on, this is right during the midterms and the primaries, where Governor Lamont expressed the desire to basically confiscate all so-called assault weapons and basically just eliminate them from the state of Connecticut, which is stupid because you'll never eliminate them. But his plan basically was to take the grandfathered assault weapons that were, from SB 1160, all the ones that we went out and registered with the state as assault weapons. He wants to basically eliminate all of them. That was what he expressed the desire to do. Now, what has come up recently is that he's not getting the support that he thought he was going to get, and even among people in his own party. So I want to come over to this article here. This is the day. Lamont's AR-15 ban faces pushback from area legislators. Support for Democratic governors at Ned Lamont's controversial proposal to no longer allow ownership of AR-15 rifles in Connecticut is thin among area legislators, even among members of his own party. During a debate shortly before the November election, Lamont submitted an idea for increased gun regulations in the state, specifically to reverse course and no longer allow those with AR-15 rifles and military-style weapons to keep them. Connecticut had previously grandfathered in current owners of such weapons when passing laws banning the sale of these weapons in 1993 and 2013. The 2013 law was passed in the wake of the mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School that killed, we know about this, 20 children and 6 adults. But on Tuesday, one day before the 10th anniversary of the shooting, and a few days after, the Connecticut Mirror reported that Lamont still plans to try and bring his proposal to fruition. Southeastern Connecticut legislators were either wholly opposed or tepid about the idea. If you remember, he came out with Governor's Bill number 16 that got so much backlash from the public that he basically gutted it down to nothing. That also included, wording to end the pre-ban exemption and to end others in Connecticut. But State Senator Kathy Osteen, Democrat Sprague, is wholly opposed. Quote, "I would not support that initiative," she said. "We made a promise to people. We need to maintain that promise." Osteen was one of only 2 Democrats in the state Senate to oppose the law passed shortly after Sandy Hook. "I voted against the bill to begin with, so I already thought it was a little bit too restrictive," she said. "We made a promise to the people on this. I just don't think we can go back on that." Osteen, who is a former corrections officer and will serve as the vice chair of the Public Safety Committee in the upcoming legislative session, says she does not believe there is support for Lamont's proposal in the General Assembly. State Rep Greg Howard, Republican Stonington, is a Stonington police detective and will again be a Republican ranking member on the Public Safety Committee. He pushed back sharply on the governor's proposal. Quote, "Since he's been governor, 74% of arrests for illegal possession of an assault weapon and 97% of arrests for illegal sale or transfer of long guns have been nullified, not prosecuted, or dismissed," Howard wrote in an email statement. "And yet, rather than tighten up our criminal justice system relevant to illegal acts regarding assault weapons, the governor proposes seizing weapons from citizens who have legally owned them for at least 8 years without a problem. Perhaps if the governor focused more on criminals than law-abiding citizens, we would have a safer state." Well, I'm going to tell you flat out why he's not doing that, because this whole thing is not about nobody's safety or crime, okay? This is about taking guns from the hands of the citizens of the United States. That's the end game. So, yeah. State Rep Christine Conley, Democrat, wrote and pointed out that the students who were killed at Sandy Hook would be juniors in high school this year. Well, that's very interesting. The children that lost their lives at the Murrah building in Oklahoma would be in their mid-20s now. Marion Sanchez would also be in her mid-20s. Haley Pettit, she'd be 27, and Michaela Pettit would be probably in college. She'd be around 19. So I don't understand, once again, what, this is the kind of, careful, stuff that irritates me to death. That irritates me. It's like, why are these people's deaths more important? Because there's political clout behind it. Because I tell you now, and I said it before, and I'll say it again, if any of these children from Sandy Hook have been killed any other way, we wouldn't be talking about it. Period. I just mentioned a whole bunch of incidences where people lost their lives tragically. We don't talk about those people. So, but, quote, to think of those young faces forever frozen for young forever. They should be teenagers driving, looking at schools, getting ready to start their futures, Connolly said. I think the gun legislation that came out of Sandy Hook was forthright and helped to get a lot of guns off the street. It didn't do a damn thing as far as getting criminal activity. Things have gotten worse, actually. See, they're full of crap. I'm sorry. They're full of crap. I see a gun legislation today and in the future as what helps prevent crime, and it doesn't. And I don't see that bill preventing future crime. Connolly said she believes the state already has really strong gun laws in the books and that there's more we can do in different areas to affect crime. State Rep Doug Dubinsky, Republican chaplain, said he is certainly against reversing past decisions to let gun owners keep their guns, even if the sale of those guns was outlawed. Quote, I think it's unconstitutional. I think it is unwise. I think it is political posturing at its worst, and it will not do a single thing to save a life, Dubinsky said. If he wants to reduce the number of people who are injured and killed with firearms, he should look to the policies that create violent environments within the inner cities, which is where the vast majority of violence with firearms takes place. Yeah, we know this. Now, another state, and it goes on and on. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to make this thing like a half an hour. But a lot of these people are not on board with this because some were saying, you know what? We promised the people that would not happen. And now we're going back on our word. But I said this was going to happen. 2013, I said this was going to happen. Okay? But I don't need to go any further into that. Now I want to come down because I definitely want to get another perspective here. This is from Holly Sullivan, who is the president of the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. Said in a statement that the organization believes Lamont continues to focus his efforts on permitted law-abiding gun owners instead of criminals in illegal possession of firearms that are committing the overwhelming amount of crime in our state. Instead of holding true criminals accountable, they are perpetually released and gun charges often dismissed. Remember, I did a video on a guy who stole 50 guns out of a warehouse. 50 guns. I think it was like 36 or 37 of those guns are still unaccounted for, which means they're out in the streets. That guy got 3 years for that. Okay? The focus is completely wrong. But meanwhile, he threatens to take lawfully owned property from background check residents who follow the rules. Now, like I said, I'm not going to get too deep into this, but it's a great article. I'm going to leave it in the description box so you can read on that. Now, right away, this may be just a move because remember, we now have a lawsuit going against the state of Connecticut concerning their assault weapons ban. And this may just be a move to try to counter that. And immediately, if you were to do something like this and actually got the support to pass it, immediately there would be an injunction on it and then it would go through the courts. There's no doubt in my mind that a judge will step in and put a stay on it and say, no. Let's play this out in court and see how legal this is and how constitutional it is. And the state really doesn't want this to go to the Supreme Court right now because they know they're going to end up probably losing huge at that level. But Lamont does not have the support to get this out on the state level, which is surprising. I'm actually surprised. That a lot of Democrats said, no, this is not a good thing and we're not doing it. But maybe that's that beacon of light that we need in the state. But like I said, you should read the whole article. And we got to, once again, this is something we got to keep an eye on because Lamont's probably going to try again. Remember, he did do his Governor Bill number 16, which failed, thankfully. But I just want to get that information out there. that he does not have this support. He thinks he needs to pass something like this, a complete confiscation. But let me know what you think. As always, you can leave your comments in the comment section below. And as always, any statements of violence or statements that lead to violence will be removed. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time a video goes live. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.